ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਵਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਬੂਸ਼ੇ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਆਫ ਨੈਚੁਰੋਪੈਥਿਕ ਮੈਡੀਸਨ ਤੋਂ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਮਾਈਕਲ ਸ਼ੈਂਸ ਨਾਲ। ਇਹ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟ ਨੇ। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਨੈਚੁਰੋਪੈਥੀ ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਐਲੋਪੈਥਿਕ ਤੋਂ ਲੋਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸਦੇ ਸਾਈਡ ਇਫੈਕਟਸ ਨੇ। ਨੈਚੁਰੋਪੈਥੀ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਖਲੋਤੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ, ਆਓ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੁਝ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
So a little bit about yourself. How did you get influenced to be associated with naturopathy?
Well, I grew up in Canada, actually. I'm born in Montreal, and I was educated in Montreal. And following that, moved to Europe and spent quite a few years in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And in Europe, naturopathic medicine is very much a part of daily life, and people included in their regular health maintenance program and health prevention program.
Mm-hmm.
So I became very exposed to it. We have a circle of friends that are doctors, practicing naturopathic doctors.
Right.
And then we moved back to Canada, and this opportunity opened in Vancouver, and we love the West Coast and the water, and that's history. The rest of it, yeah.
In the Indian tradition, naturopathy has a very important place. But
Mm-hmm.
of late, what we are finding out is, especially with the naturopathy getting a side space, it's not on the forefront. What reasons do you feel that naturopathy is not at the level where it should have been, especially when we see the Eastern culture where it was propagated in a big way earlier?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Eastern culture really is where naturopathic medicine in very many ways, of course, is born. I mean, when you look at Ayurveda in India, tremendous history and tremendous knowledge and use of the plants and the resources of the earth. And then when you get to the West, there was, at the beginning of the century, pharmaceutical companies, medical programs, and medical schools started to be steered more towards pharmaceutical drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Before that time, there were illnesses that were cured with homeopathy, even in North America, very, very effective. And so I think largely through marketing, largely through people wanting to take the easy way out,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little easier to suppress symptoms rather than deal with the real root cause of what's bothering you. I think that kind of combination of factors create a situation where people just became hooked, I guess, on many on drugs. It's easier, and so the medical profession grew. But I am really convinced that we're in the middle of a total resurgence of naturopathic medicine, be it homeopathy, be it nutrition, using food as medicine. That is really the basis. What we put into our bodies is what we get out of our bodies.
Right.
Botanical medicine, acupuncture. There's all these very, very many different facets. And at the end of the day, it's all about sustainability.
Right.
It's about sustainability in the environment, sustainability agriculture, because of course what we use on our crops is also not conducive to maintaining our health, but it's also sustainable medicine.
Right.
So what we want to do is strengthen our immune system, because only through strengthening our immune system can we actually heal our bodies.
Absolutely.
Be it from chronic disease or any kind of acute disease. Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that pharmaceutical drugs do not have a place, and we believe also very much actually in collaboration. To collaborate with medical doctors, and that's one thing that we're trying to do at our school, is to increase the collaboration with the medical community, because we think everybody working together is really the best formula.
Like you said, you're finding the resurgence. Of course, people have started talking about the negative impacts of the pharmaceutical, what they intake. But on the other hand, when we talk about the naturopathic medicines as such also, people still do not have much faith in that. Of course, there are many good companies which are there, but also we find that the medicines which come forward, many times we find that even Health Canada also bans them and tells even prominent companies from countries like India or China, it is said that the content of those medicines is not up to the mark.
Right.
So how do you cater to these kinds of issues, challenges when they come forward? What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know, there are many, many, many products, a myriad of products that are allowed, that are licensed into the country. And of course, Health Canada will want to have some kind of system where they control what's being sold. I mean, there has to be some kind of some
regulation,
kind of oversight. Yeah. But you know, I think on the whole, when we don't trust nature and we don't trust the natural healing aspects, in a way we don't trust ourselves.
Right.
Because really, you know, the power that we have in ourselves to heal is just reflected in the kind of the efficacy that these medicines will have when we use them. So I think as time goes on, people are really starting to question. You know, do I want to take things like, you know, many different drugs for many different things, suppress my symptoms, or do I really want to get to the root cause of what's bothering me?
But also, are we finding in the West that companies are coming forward which are producing naturopathic medicine here only, getting the herbs or whatever it is from other places, and then over here in Canada or in the West, you know, they're establishing factories where these are manufactured?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I was just recently in Germany, for example. I visited a number of supplement companies.
Right.
And also in Canada, we've got some, you know, very big ones, major ones. As a matter of fact, a lot of them sponsor our school.
Right.
Even. And they go all over the world. They'll go to China, they'll go to India, they'll go to places in Europe to go through very stringent selection processes in order to draw the products for the medicines that they use.
We'll learn about this after this short break. JP Transmissions ਉਹ one stop total auto care center ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਾਜਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਟਰਾਂਸਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਰਿਪੇਅਰ, ਰੀਬਿਲਡ, ਆਟੋਮੈਟਿਕ ਤੇ ਸਟੈਂਡਰਡ ਕਲਚਸ, ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ, ਜਨਰਲ ਰਿਪੇਅਰ, ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਡੋਮੈਸਟਿਕ, ਇੰਪੋਰਟਡ ਤੇ ਯੂਰੋਪੀਅਨ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਰਵਿਸ, 1 ਟਨ ਤੋਂ 5 ਟਨ ਟਰੱਕ, ਜ਼ੂਜ਼ੂ ਤੇ ਹੀਨੋ ਲਈ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਸਕੈਨਰ। ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮਲਟੀ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਚੈੱਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਰਿਪੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਬੈਸਟ ਸਰਵਿਸ ਲਈ ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਆਓ 8951 152 ਸਟਰੀਟ ਸਰੀ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਪੈਬ ਮਹਲ ਸ਼ੰਭੂ 604 589 1217। Once again, welcome back to the program. ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਮਾਈਕਲ ਸ਼ੈਂਕਸ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਨੇ ਬੁਸ਼ਰ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਆਫ ਨੈਚੁਰੋਪੈਥਿਕ ਮੈਡੀਸਨ ਤੋਂ। ਨਿਊ ਵੈਸਟਮਿੰਸਟਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So in Canada, how many institutes of your kind are there?
There's 2 accredited, fully accredited schools in Canada. There's one in Toronto and then our school.
Right.
And by the way, there's another 5 in the US.
Okay.
The accreditation for a school like us is very important. We're accredited by the BC government, of course, and also by the Council of Naturopathic Medical Education based in Washington, D.C. So all of the 7 schools in North America are approved and accredited by this CNME, as we refer to them in Washington.
So what kind of courses do you offer to the students?
Well, the first couple of years are really very, very heavy science-based. It's very similar to a medical program.
Okay.
So, you know, biomedicine, physiology, pathology, microbiology, all of the things that you need to know to understand, of course, how the body functions. And then as you get into the 3rd and 4th year, you get more of the more natural modalities. You get acupuncture, botanical medicine. Of course, going through the whole course is nutrition. There's modalities as well, such as hydrotherapy, physical medicine. We're quite well known actually for our physical medicine. Very interesting, our physical medicine is equivalent to a chiropractor. So there's a lot of modalities that, natural modalities, of course, that the doctors will use when they get out.
Right. So it's how long is the course? What's the duration?
It's a 4-year program. You get in. You need a bachelor's degree essentially to get in.
Right.
Obviously, you know, good marks and the appropriate personality and character and so forth. And then it's a 4-year program after that.
So after the 4-year course, you know, the program is completed. The students, do they start with their own practice or they get absorbed at some places which are already running?
Well, usually they get absorbed.
Okay.
In the early stages, because you have to build your practice.
Absolutely.
In order to do that, you'd like to also, you have to do kind of a practicum with another clinic. It's really better to do that. You get more exposed to the public.
Right.
You learn how to market your services, also the business side. There's a lot of things, of course, in establishing a clinic that at the beginning, for anybody establishing a business, of course,
Right.
are challenging. But then afterwards, most of the students, not all, some work for supplement companies as
Right.
medical advisors, but a lot of the students then will, as they establish their own practices, they'll begin there. A lot of them teach at the school.
Right.
A lot of them supervise in our clinic. We have a rather large clinic as well.
Okay.
So they do various things at the beginning, and after a couple of years, they get more and more into their own practice.
So when you say you have your own clinic over there, do patients, anybody can come and get themselves checked, and then you offer them the medicines and everything also?
Absolutely. It's a
Okay.
teaching clinic.
Okay.
So the prices are very reasonable. As a matter of fact, we have a policy as well. We treat lower income people for free
Right.
in many cases. So the school and the clinic we're a registered charity in effect. So
Right.
that's part of our mandate, service to the community. So we service about 1,000 patients a month, and the students will be coached and supervised by a naturopathic doctor,
Okay.
and they'll make the rounds of patients. So we have a lot of patients actually from Surrey
Well, that's
as
interesting.
well. Yeah.
So when it comes to the funding, basically many institutes, the medical institutes get supported by the government.
Right.
Does an institute like yours also get some support from the government, or is it on the basis of just the fees, what you charge from the students?
Well, we do charge fees, but the students get loans, student loans from the government.
Right.
And we also have, as I mentioned before, we also have some of the companies, supplement companies. They also support
Right.
us. That, of course, we have to completely separate any kind of product from the curriculum.
Right.
The curriculum has to
Of course.
maintain purity and impartiality, of course.
Right.
So those are our major funding sources, and of course, we do run fundraising campaigns.
So Michael, generally in a year, how many students come and get graduated from your institute?
We graduate approximately, plus minus, depends on the given year, approximately 45 to 50 students.
What's the kind of interest amongst the youngsters? Because in the Indo-Canadian community, generally the parents' thinking is, if you want to be a doctor, be a medical doctor, because that way you will get easily settled. There won't be many issues, no doubt. India had a great background about naturopathy, but over the years that dissipated. Now there again is a resurgence, especially in the south where you went to Kerala and other places. But overall, the mentality of the people is still, embedded in the thinking that go into the medical field.
Right.
What do you foresee? What are you finding? And if there are any challenges, what would your message be to our viewers today, especially the parents who want their children to go into this kind of field?
Well, I think I really sense a resurgence simply because society is getting more and more ill. There are more and more medical problems, chronic issues
Right.
that pharmaceuticals have not been able to deal with, and we do need alternatives.
Right.
That's point number one, and I think people will, they come upon it themselves.
Right.
And I think there is a general trend, certainly among young people, sustainability, getting back to nature, about holistic health,
Right.
which I think is going to come more and more. As well, if you look at the BC healthcare strategy, it's all about patient-centered focus,
Right.
not a disease-centered focus. A naturopathic doctor will on a first visit, will sit with a patient for an hour and a half or 2 hours, for an hour. So they'll really delve into the case. So that's really a patient-centered focus. It's very important.
Right.
And because we're not part of Medicare, except for low-income individuals, they have a certain set number of visits per year, which will be paid by Medicare. Most of it, people will pay through their insurance plans.
Right.
So, and if
So
they don't,
insurance plans cover these kind of medicines?
they absolute all of the modalities.
Okay.
They're fully covered.
Right.
We see definitely a resurgent, a greater interest on the part of people just to be dealing with if they have any kind of chronic diseases. And not only, it's not only a matter of how long you live, it's the quality of life.
Wonderful.
And that's really what it's all about.
That's great. And if anybody wants some more information, where can they get this information?
Well, our website is binm.org, and we're located in New Westminster.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Michael. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.